All right, so welcome everyone. This is our total body workout class. So we'll be doing our warm up, our workout, and then our cool down. So for our workout, we'll be focusing quite a bit on upper body strength today. We'll probably do one cardio movement and then one leg movement. That'll be a giant set. And then we'll move on to the next set after that. We'll do about 5 sets and then we'll repeat as much as we can once we've gone through the 5 sets. Okay, so let's go ahead and warm up. Equipment for today, yoga mat. Oh, you can see me walking all funny. Yoga mat, dumbbells, and a chair. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by looking left to right. Just left to right. Morning, Debbie. Straw mid, up and down. Neck circles. Switch. Let's do our trunk rotation. We'll go through a little quicker warm up today just so we could get even more stuff. But just trunk rotation. Bring that right arm across. Left arm across. We have about 2 more weeks. We're already in March 2nd. So this is week 7. Next week will be our last week of this 8-week session. And then the following week, we start the next term. Okay, so let's go ab circles. So wide stance, hinge at the hip, your back is straight. All right, big hula hoops. So just big hip circles. And again, if anyone has a recommendation or a movement you want to do today, just shout it out or put it on the chat. And as always, if there's a lift or a movement that doesn't feel right and causes pain, switch. Remember to skip those movements, or you could just speak up or ask for a variation of it. We don't want to see anyone getting hurt on these. Keep going. Give me a couple more of those. Just checking the chat. All right, legs and lower back. Awesome. I just saw your LOL, Jeff. I'll be, that works for you guys. So let's go ahead and do hip opener. So drive, we'll see how this goes. I need this for sure right now. Drive your right leg up and then out, down, up, in. And yeah, and that's speaking of lower back, that's one thing that right on this race I didn't consider was how steep some of these hills were. So right away, that was the first ache that I had was my lower back. Let's switch. Let's see if I can do this here. Oh, yeah, just my lower back was the first pain I I came across on this race. And I was very nervous on Thursday morning when I went running. I got this really nasty cramp on my left calf. So I was very concerned because I hadn't felt any pain. Well, I know this one I'm gonna feel. All right, right quad stretch. Ooh. So, so going into the race on Thursday, I was very worried about my left Achilles, my left calf muscle. And yeah, that was the only body part on Saturday that didn't cramp up. And I was very worried by it, but the rest of my body was hurting. It's funny how that works out. Switch. Took an Epsom salt bath on Thursday night and on Saturday. I might take some. I'll take one of those tonight too. Does anyone take those by chance? Here and there, maybe? Epsom salt bath?
No, we deal with it.
Carmen, what's your problem with me today? Let's do our hamstring stretch. So slide in at the knees.
I
Yeah, well,
want you to be mad the way you can recover faster.
I know I'm right here being a baby, right? And like, just get ready for what's coming. So, ooh, I can't go low, glutes down and up. Oh, okay, and last one is our deep squat. Good morning, Maria. Deep squat. We'll see if I could get back up from here. Oh. Oof. Just stay low. And right. Oh. Oof. All right, guys, that's the class. I'll see you next week. That's how I feel. Just kidding. So let's go ahead, grab our dumbbells. Okay. And our dumbbells. So as mentioned, we'll probably go one shoulder movement, one chest or back movement, one arm, which arms are going to be biceps or triceps. So that's three movements there. We've got plenty of shoulder exercises. So we'll probably have one in every set, one leg movement, and then one cardio. Okay. So to start off, let's go ahead and we're going to start off with like an easier shoulder one. It's not very taxing. This is just going to be shoulder shrugs. So grab your dumbbells, warming up that shoulder muscles, your delts, part of your lower neck as well. So give me about 10 to 15 of these. These aren't very taxing. You could usually go with some of the heavier weights with this one too. Give me about 5 more. So shrug shoulders as high as you can and as low as you can. And rest. So you're gonna still want to take a little bit of rest. Take about 20 seconds. Have some water nearby. Oof. All right, next is gonna be we did our shoulders. We're just gonna go with hammer curls. I like hammer curls because it really targets your triceps and a little bit of your biceps. So it's a nice warm up when you're feeling like your body's not ready to start the workout yet. That's a good one because it's not super taxing like the bicep curl, or where you want to finish your workout and you just want something quick and not too crazy. That's a good one too. So ready? Give me 12 to 15. So remember hammer grip. So for this one, you're holding it like so, and then coming up this way. So 12 to 15. And remember all the way down. So I inhale on the way up, exhale on my way down. 4, 2, 3 more over here. All right. Very good. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and then let our arms rest a little bit because we will need them. So we're gonna do side step jacks or jumping jacks. So side step jacks is step to your right, come back, step to your left, and alternate. Okay. Jumping jacks, I'm not even gonna attempt to do right now. I'm probably gonna fall on the floor. Or you could do jumping jacks if you want a little bit more work. Okay. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. So we're doing 40 seconds. We're doing side step jacks. Yeah, jumping jacks. No. Trying to run maybe like 20 to 30 minutes later this evening. I think weather's supposed to be nicer. Hoping my legs feel better by then. So I took yesterday completely off. We're at 30 seconds. We're gonna aim for 45 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. Whew. Took my breath away. Okay. All right, we're gonna do good mornings. So I'm gonna target the lower back with this one. So what you want to do is grab one of your dumbbells or your weights, have that being held up right up against your chest. Slight bend at the knees, very slight. Okay, you want to hinge at your hip and keep your back straight, and then bring that weight down, keeping that weight up against you and come back. Okay, so again, your back has to be straight. If you feel an arch, then we're doing it wrong. You might want to start with just your body weight. Okay, so again, if you want to, you can start with just your body weight if you're not confident or comfortable with that weight on your chest right now. Okay, we're gonna go for 10 to 12 of these. Ready? We're here and begin. So 1. You might feel this on your hamstring too. So again, your glutes, you want to stick them out behind you. Your back is straight. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. 30 seconds rest. Four. All right, the next one, I think I should be able to do this one. We're going to be doing a standing hip adduction. Okay, so this is our leg adduction. You could use some support. Again, main component here is the actual lift, not the balance. But if you want to work on your balance too, then just keep your torso nice and upright. And we're going to bring that leg up. If your balance is not quite there, you could use a little bit of an assistance, just lightly tapping on a shelf, and then just bring that leg up and down. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 10 on each leg. Ready? And begin. So as high as you can. And try to keep your torso as nice and upright as possible too. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Ooh. All right, here we go. Your left one. Again, 12. Ready. Again, so 1, 2. So this is targeting on your hip adductors, your glutes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right. Very good. Okay, so this is where we get our how much rest. You get 90 seconds rest on this one. So this is in between sets. So grab some water. In between sets is usually in between super giant sets. It's when you want to recover a little bit more. You grab some water. Okay. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do our underhand front raises. So that's working on your chest here. A little bit of shoulder rotation as well. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and do reverse curls. So now our palms are facing behind us. We bring that dumbbell up and then back down. Okay. It's working on your triceps right there. Now for our back, we're gonna go ahead. You could use your chair, the table. We're gonna just chill here. We're gonna do one arm at a time. Drop that arm down, keep your back straight, and then row in. Okay. Extend, fully extension, come back up. That's going to be our third lift for that movement. Okay. For cardio, we're going to go ahead and do our cross toe tap. So we're here and just come across. I'll probably do 5 seconds of that myself. That's already gassing me out. We're going to do that one. And then for our legs, we could do a variation of Romanian deadlifts. That's going to be for your hamstrings. So it's similar to the good mornings we just did, but now you're actually coming down a little bit lower. So holding the weight, slight bend at the knees, you're going to come down all the way to your toes if you can, and then back up. That's going to target really the upper and high hamstring. Okay, so a little bit of your glutes, but we're going to do that. Okay, that's going to be our next set. All right, you folks are ready. Let's grab those dumbbells. Underhand front raises. So you go out here and bring them right directly in front of your face. And then back up. Arms are fully extended. We're doing 10 to 12. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Hold your breath. About 30 seconds rest. Next is our reverse curls. All right, here we go. Reverse curls. Remember these? I usually wrap my thumb around, instead of having them here, I wrap my thumb, all my fingers on the same side. From here and then come up and all the way down, up. Keep that forearm straight. You don't want to rotate the wrist outwards and do this, okay? You want to keep them straight. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale, exhale. Got 3 more. 2 more. And last one. Okay. We have our rows next. Bent over rows. So yeah, so is anyone interested in any races like that or that talent racing? Because there's one in Brea in April, at the end of April. So if anyone's interested, let me know. I can give you a little bit more details. All right, and it's as easy or as challenging as you want to make it, and I'll explain. So let's do the rows. We're here. And again, I'm just gonna rest my forearm on the table, looking down, extend it, and then bring that arm up and slowly down. I'm gonna go for 10 of these. Right, when you're ready, switch positions and begin. Good. Alrighty. Catch your breath. Next is cross toe taps. So arms are up. You're gonna connect your right hand with your left foot and switch. Okay, we'll do that for 40 seconds. Well, 10 more seconds rest. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So here. Oh, 40 seconds. This is not too bad, actually. 15 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. And then we have our RDLs next, okay? So Romanian deadlifts. Remember, that's going to be similar to the good mornings. A little water. Ooh. Yeah, so this race in Brea, they have a 2 mile, I think it's 2 miles or 2.2 miles loop around. There's a little redwood grove forest in Carbon Canyon. So you could sign up for a 3 hour, 6 hour, or 12 mile event, and you're pretty much just trying to do as many loops as possible in that time frame that you signed up for. So yeah, so you know you can make it as hard as you want or as easy. So it's on your own clock. but that's the next big one that's kind of local. So, all right, let's go ahead and do our Romanian deadlift. Okay, so slight bend at the knees. I'm gonna keep the dumbbells close to my legs at all times. Slight bend, and then just pretty much just drag the dumbbells down as far down as you can, keeping your back a little bit curved. You want to come up, slight bend at the knees. You should feel that on your hamstrings. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, going for 12, 11, and 12. Good work. All right. Rest. This is your 90-second rest. Okay. All right. So this next one we will do on the chair. Okay, so we'll go with one that you could do a little bit easier on the chair. So here what we're gonna do is gonna be doing a shoulder press. Okay, shoulder press, probably one of the more efficient movements for your shoulders to get stronger. Then we're gonna do bicep curls. Another easy, well, not easy, but easy to follow instructional here. So that's for your biceps. Okay. Now for we'll work on your shoulders. Well, that's gonna be those two. Um, and then we're gonna go ahead and do our chair squats. So again, no assistance or one leg at a time. So if we're doing, both legs together, we're gonna go for 15. If you're doing one leg extended, let's do 8 and 8 on each side. Okay. And then we'll hop into our an additional cardio from there. But those are gonna be 3 movements from the chair right now. Okay. Let me grab my dumbbells. How's everyone doing so far? Not too bad? Probably better than me for sure. I believe. A lot of the helicopter right overhead. All right, here we go. So shoulder press first. Remember, dumbbells should be
Todo
right.
bien, Julio, todo está bien, todo.
Okay, gracias. So we're here and exhale. Press up. Inhale. Come down. Out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Ooh, very good. Ooh, rest a little bit. Bicep curls is next. Remember, those are going to be out here. Bring the dumbbell to your shoulders and then back down. Right in here. All right, we're ready. Give me anywhere 8 to 12. All right, ready and begin. So up, all the way down. This is one of those two where I feel like when you do the bicep curl standing up, you can somewhat a little bit cheat if you don't straighten out completely, but being sitting down or seated, will almost force you to elongate that limb. So it's a better position too. You don't have to worry about your back rounding or anything like that. You just rest on the rest of the chair. So 8 to 12 of these. We have 2 more. I am done. All right. So elect yourself. Next one is our chair squats. Remember, this is for balance and also for strength. So we want to avoid using our hands if we are able to do that. If not, the more basic introduction one would be here. Come up, then down. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you could just extend one of your legs or even elevate it and put all that weight on that single leg. If you're going to do that, do 8 on one leg and then 8 on the other. Okay. If you're doing the double legs or both legs together, give me 15. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. These are box squats here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Very good. All right, catch your breath. Next one we're going to be doing is going to be the hand walkout. So this is one of the more taxing cardio movements that we'll do today. And this is a full body one. So it works your arms, your legs, your shoulders. So, and again, this is easier variation of what a burpee is. So if you remember these, we're here. We're going to come into your hand position. You could get on your knees if needed, or you could just come into a hand plank and then come back up and stand up. Okay? All right. We're going to go for a total of 6 to 10 of these. So if you can manage 6 and that feels very challenging, then just call it there. But if you could get up to 10, then give me 10. Okay? So we won't go by time, just by numbers. Ready? Okay, go. So here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, the legs are doing okay with this one. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Very good. All right, so your rest, quick little break. grab some water, use the restroom. Okay, we'll regroup for our fourth set now. 30 more seconds. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna go this stand-up set. It's gonna be a little bit shorter before we transition down to the floor. So we're gonna go ahead and do our front raises, working on that front part of your delts. For our triceps, you could do kickback, so elbows here and extend, or we could go overhead and extend that tricep there, but just focusing on that tricep muscle. Okay, that's gonna be front delt, triceps. Now for cardio or for our legs, what we could do is, or what you could do is it's gonna be a reverse lunge. Okay, so you're gonna step back and like I can go low. This is as far low as I can go. So we're gonna be alternating, okay, for that one. And that's gonna be it. And then we'll incorporate our calves too. So I could probably do this one. So just calf raises, and that's gonna be our fourth set. Okay, so 4 movements. No cardio on that one, just those 4 movements. But lunges, you do them nonstop. You usually get a cardio workout from that. Okay, so let's go ahead, grab those dumbbells, and these are front raises. So your palms are facing behind you. Okay, so let's bring them up and then back down. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and put those down. Remember tricep, overhead, extensions, or that single arm extension. All right. Okay, gonna go with the single arm, bent over tricep kickback. So I'm here. I'm gonna go for 8 of these. So elbows at my side, extend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very good. Next one, you can do lunges. And honestly, I'm okay with either one. So there's 3 variations we could do. You could do reverse lunges, which is going to target your quads, the front part of your thighs. So for those, you're going to step back, come down. Ooh. Okay, and alternate. Or you could do the ones that target your hamstrings and your glutes a little bit more, and that's gonna be a forward lunge. And those also irritate my quad. And then just alternate. Or you could just do a static lunge, which you just get in that split position, and then just keep your foot on your elevated by staying on your toes, and then just down and up. Okay. I know sometimes just the motion or the moving back and forth could irritate the hips. So we're gonna go ahead and do 6 on each side, okay? All right, when you're ready, go ahead and begin. You can always use assistance by holding on to something. So I'll try my best. So 1, oh, this helps. 2, see, I could do it like this. So 6 on each side. I don't know if my my legs are appreciating this right now. Maybe it'll get rid of the soreness. Forward, forward, 5, 5, 6, and 6. Yeah. Whew. How's everyone doing?
Good, good, good.
Great. Still working. Let's grab those dumbbells. Okay, we're gonna do calf raises. So we're gonna do 15 to 20. Dumbbells at your side. And again, just elevate your heels as high as you can, and then back down. 2. You're gonna hold them elevated for about half a second to a second before you drop your heels again. Eighteen, 19, 20. Very good. Awesome. All right, your 2 minutes rest. Let's go ahead and set up the yoga mat. So let's have the yoga mat on the floor. We're gonna be doing a couple movements on the floor. So go ahead and get that setup going. Okay. So here on the floor, we're gonna be taking advantage of the position and go ahead and do as many exercises as we can. So we'll probably finish off the session here. So we'll go with push-ups, okay, to start off. Then we'll flip it on our back, and we'll do a little bit of core. We'll do some sliding sit-ups. We'll do some glute bridges, and then maybe we'll do some side planks for that first set, okay, on the floor. All right, so push-ups, remember knee assisted or regular traditional push-ups. Give me anywhere between 10 to 15, whatever you could do. Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So we're here, and 10 to 15. Very good. I'm gonna flip it on my back. Rest for about 30 seconds. Okay, so you could do I'll give you two options. Sliding sit-ups, so hands on your lap, and then just slide them towards your knees. Or you could have your knees right above your hips, and you could do a crunch. So you just have to aim at bringing your shoulders towards the knees, okay? Don't think so much about your neck movement, think about your shoulders. Hey, this is gonna be for time. We'll go in 3, 2, 1, go. So we'll go for 30 or 40 seconds here. We have 20 seconds. Thirty seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. 40 seconds here. All right. We'll probably add some knee drops for our lower back. I know that was requested earlier. So do some knee drops after some. All right, so next one's gonna be our glute bridges. So hands at your side, sit up position. You're gonna bring your hips up, elevated, squeeze your glutes, hold for a second, and then come back down. Okay? And it's actually hold for 2 seconds. So we're here, 3, 2, 1, up, squeeze, 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 down, up, hold, down, up, hold, down, up, hold, down, up, hold, down. We're at 5, up, hold, down, 6, up, hold, down, 7, up, hold, 8, up, hold, 9, up, hold, 10, 2 more, up, hold, down, last one, up, hold, down. Oof. Okay. All right, so knee drops. You're still here, same position, but sometimes we'll do this on Wednesdays, but this is also good for your lower back. So from here, we're just gonna go ahead and drop your knees to your left side, reset, and then drop them to the right. Reset, okay? We're gonna do 6 on each side. 3, 2, 1, go. So drop, drop. That's 1. So left, up, right, up. That's 2. Left, up, right, up. 3, left, up. 4, 5, and 6. All right. Good job. Okay, and our cardio movement for this one is gonna be mountain climbers. Okay, so you're gonna be in this position and you're just gonna march, bringing your knees towards your chest. Okay. We'll recover another 20 seconds. Then we'll start with those. Is it okay?
Yep, surviving.
All right. Yeah, this workout's making me feel a little better. Kind of silly how that works. All right. Here we go. Ready? Hand plank and march. So just march. We're gonna go for 30 seconds. You got 15 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 9. Whew. All right. Do we have time for one more set, or do you guys want to call it a cool down?
Oh, cool down sounds like so good.
What does everyone else say?
I'm,
I
I'm
know
sitting.
Carmen's not the only one.
Cool
Ah,
down, please.
Cool down. All right. You got me with the please.
No, tú échale, Julio, tú échale.
No, any other day I'd say yes, let's keep going, but today I'm like, oh man, let's see.
You are brave.
Ah, thank you. I don't know. I don't credit. Let's go left hand under your glute and then right hand comes over. Yeah, it was, I was training with, like I said, with my friend the last three, like 2 months. And I remember when I brought it up to him, the idea of training with him, he didn't take me seriously because, most people that venture into, I think, some type of like extreme sport, the idea sounds, pretty enticing and initially, but the training's pretty demanding. So when I brought it, and what got me into it was during Thanksgiving break. I just came across too many YouTube videos with trail running and I got motivated and here we go. Let's go ahead and do our hip opener. So we're sitting here, step wide and put your hand there. Yeah, and I just told him, hey, I want to train with you. And he was like, okay, if you say so, this is when we meet. And yeah, I went through with it and now yeah, it's been awesome. And I told myself, I remember thinking, I was like, I'm not ready for these big races yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay with my buddy for the first 9 or 10 miles of the race. If I'm feeling good, that's when I'm gonna make my move and try to catch people in the last 5 miles because my buddy's done plenty of these races. He was a professional triathlete in the 80s. So he's wise. It's not like, he just started doing this last week. And no, so that was the game plan. I ran with him for about 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh, this is a little slow for me. And I went after the hills and then yeah, I mean, I like I said, I could see very far back. At some point, I think I could like physically see about 10 minutes behind me. Let's put our right ankle on that left hip, if I could get it there. Um, and nowhere could I see him. He was at least 10 minutes behind me before the halfway point. And yeah, and silly me in the later part of the race, all the cramps kicked in. And then he closed about another 7 minutes on me because yeah, he was right there. I was like literally, I got to the finish line. I was stumbling, slightly gentle push down. I was stumbling. Um, One of the volunteers at the finish line was like, "Do you need a chair?" And I'm like, "Yes, I need a chair, please." And I sat down and I thought I was gonna be waiting for about 20 or 30 minutes before I saw him and his wife come in. And no, he was as soon as I sat down and I looked into the distance, he was already coming in. And I was like, what? Like, that's awesome. And yeah, it was incredible race. Definitely fun. But by far the hardest race of my life. No, nothing comes close to it. The only thing that came close was the Spartan races but the only thing about them that was similar to these was just the cramps. But I was never in a position in any race where I had to really talk to myself for about an hour. And it was all positive self-talk, just telling myself in my head, I was like, come on, buddy, you got this. Just get to the finish line. I like the motivating stuff that you see in movies of like, kids just applauding each other, like, the whole mantra. That was just me in my head. And yeah, it was pretty humbling experience. Let's push down on that left knee. But yeah, I don't know when the next one will be. We shall see. Let's bring that knee up. But yeah, so like I said, in 2 weeks we'll start with the new session. We'll have that pre-assessment like we did last semester, where we'll have 5 movements and we'll try to improve on those. And I know everyone had individual goals. And again, it could be from losing a few pounds to maybe gaining a few pounds of muscle. I know someone had a goal of being able to put their luggage on the overhead compartment when they travel. And sometimes it could just be, going for a little bit longer on your walks or um, managing to reach the top shelf of your pantry or anything like that. So I know I still have troubles with that. I usually have to use Julian's little stool to reach some areas or hop onto the dryer. But all right, and then last but not least, let's work on our adductors a little bit. So here, just elevate your leg and then just swing it out. So not too much movement, but you want to swing it out to the right. We'll do about 8 of these. I was talking to some people at the finish line. And I was a little disappointed because I asked some of them if they do any other events, and I named some big famous ones, and they said that they would love to, but some of them are just really expensive. So I just switched legs, and I was like, well, how expensive are they? Because races have gotten pricier. I remember when I was in high school, if you wanted to do a 5K, they're about 25, maybe $30 at the most. And then now they're about 50 to 60. Um, but some big races, for some reason, they cost a couple of $1,000 to get into. And I was just like, oh, I was really disappointed when I heard that because I was like, oh, like, I was like, oh, maybe one day I could do that race. And they're like, oh, well, you better start saving now because there's a race in Arizona. There's a 200-mile race. One of the guys at the finish line told me his buddy just did it, and his whole trip cost him about $9,000. And I was like,
What?
oh, I was like, forget that. I was like, I'm
No way.
not that. I was like, I'll tell my wife to drop me off in like Pomona and pick me up in Las Vegas if I want to do a 200-mile
For
race.
one day.
Yeah. I was
No way.
cool. So,
No.
but anyways, appreciate everyone. And yeah, so thank you for going easy on
I,
me.
I have to say, I love the modification of the burpees.
Okay. Yeah.
Really love that one.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'll continue it and yeah, it's a full body one and yeah, it still gets you, it's very yeah, burpees. I mean, those are so taxing. I think with burpees you could do 5 really quick or 20 and then the rest of the workout for the day, sometimes the quality just drops a lot because those burpees just take so much out of you.
What
So
it worries me when I do burpees, that I don't do it much, is
mhm.
that I'm worried that I can fall.
Yeah. Oh
What
yeah.
real concern is.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, that's yeah, all you need is to have a
An
little
ankle or
yeah,
so.
or a little area on the floor that's a little there's like a drop of sweat gets it and then yeah, you're fine.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, no, no. Stay with this modification. I
okay,
love
will do. All right, everyone. You have a
it.
happy
Thank you. Feel
Monday.
better. Feel
Thank you.
better.
I'll see you Wednesday.
See
Bye
you.
Gracias,
bye.
Julio.
Bye.
Thank
Gracias.
Julio.
Bye,
Thank
folks. Have a
you.
good day.
Bye. Bye.